What is up, guys? We're live again. 2 uploads today for me. This time I got a very special guest. You all know him. It's KJ Mccoy from 302 Birds. If you guys don't already follow him, make sure you do. Follow
Appreciate
302
it.
Birds as well. Real honor for Dalton to let him come on for me.
He had to pull some strings, but I
Yeah, we had to
appreciate you
pull some
bringing me
strings to
on.
get KJ McCoy on here.
Yeah,
Because
so
we've
he had to
never
pull some
we don't
strings.
know each other at all. This is like the first time we've ever had a
I've never seen
podcast
him
with each
before.
other. Yeah. But we're gonna try to do a little pick 'em this week and see what teams we want to win. Let me get this shared up real quick for us. But yeah, KJ, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Did you
I'm
watch the
pumped.
game at all last night?
Oh yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
Bills just
that actually
annihilated
surprised
them
me a
right
lot. I was surprised. Like I
now.
know
I should
Bill.
have. I should
I
have put some money on the Bills because I really did
yeah
believe they were going to dominate. So I
yeah
was pretty happy
I
from a fantasy standpoint as well too because I had Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, so that was
that'll
perfect.
that helps.
Yeah.
Whoever has Cooper Cup this year, better make sure you stash him because he's gonna have a ton of yards again. Because
Yeah,
that's all Matt Stafford
he's
throws to.
he's gonna go
And
insane for
I
sure.
picked the Rams last night, and I was wrong, very
I
wrong.
picked the Bills. I did pick the Bills. I actually picked
I thought
them
it
to
was gonna be
win
close, but
by a touchdown. I think the score I was saying it's pretty close to this, but I said the Bills would get 27 and the what's it called? Yeah, the Rams were gonna get what was it, 21, I think. Yeah.
well, Rams didn't score that much,
Rams
but
didn't score that much though.
yeah,
They were
you're close on the
pretty
Bills.
cool.
The Rams didn't score that
Yeah,
much.
that was pretty close. Not too bad.
So we go on our first game here, Saints at Falcons. To me, this
Ooh.
is kind of a crappy game. I'm not really gonna
Yeah.
watch it. But I think the Saints overall are just a better team. It's going to be interesting what Jameis Winston we see this year. Is it going to be the Jameis Winston we saw last year before he got hurt, or is it going to be the Jameis Winston from the Buccaneers who was terrible? I got the Saints eking this one out by a little bit. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Saints. I think Jameis Winston is the more polished quarterback for sure. And I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Desmond Ritter starting for Atlanta?
I believe it's Marcus Mariota.
Okay, Marcus Mariota. Okay, I
So it's
just think
the number 1 and number 2 overall pick of that draft are playing
yeah,
against each other, but on different teams.
crazy. That is crazy. Wow, I forgot they're in the same draft. That is crazy. Wow.
Yeah,
But I
and
just
everybody
think
thought they were going
James.
to be studs too. Like
Yeah, I did too. I thought Jameis was
remember,
gonna be.
everybody, all the Eagles fans wanted Chip Kelly to trade up for Marcus Mariota.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, I wasn't one of them. I was like, no, I'm good. It's all good.
I
But
low key
I'll
wanted
say,
him just because I
yeah.
wanted to see the offense. But
Right. I'll
um,
say honestly, I think Jameis Winston is the more polished quarterback, and I think they will get the dub. I think it will be. I think they'll win by at least 2 touchdowns, maybe 3. I just think the Saints are just a better team in general. The Falcons
yeah,
are
they
really
are.
rebuilding. They're really trying to just rebuild what they have, and I don't see the Falcons winning too many games at all this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Falcons are definitely one of the weaker teams in the league. But moving on to the next game here, we got the Browns at the Panthers.
Ooh,
Baker Mayfield playing against the Browns again. The Browns do
revenge
not have
game.
their quarterback because he's a rapist. But but it's going to be a close game. The Browns overall as a team, I feel like, are better than the Panthers, but the Panthers actually have a quarterback playing this game. So I got the Panthers winning by like a point or two. It's going to be really close.
Yeah, I'm going with the Panthers, and I was talking to a couple of Carolina fans this week about it, and I said, you guys are gonna annihilate the not the Saints, the Browns, just because I feel like Baker's got vengeance and he's mad. He feels like that organization just kicked him to the curb and they just disrespected him. So honestly, I think he's just mad and pissed off, and he wants to go out there and just prove a bunch of people wrong. He's going to use his receivers, I feel like, and he's going to come out with a fire in his stomach for sure. So
Well,
I'm
yeah,
going with
he
Panthers. I think they will win. I will get. I'll say Baker throws for maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns. They win. Like I'll probably say like 35. I mean, I'm trying to think. What Jacoby Brissett's going to be the Browns quarterback, right? Is that who they're going with?
yeah.
Okay, Brissett. I'll give Yeah, I'll give the Browns 10 points. I'll say they score a field goal and one touchdown. Brissett will get a
I mean,
touchdown, or
they
maybe it'll
they
be Nick
do
Chubb.
they do still have Nick Chubb and they do still have Amari Cooper. So I
That
definitely
is true.
think the Browns are going to score points. It's not like they're not going to
Yeah,
score points. I just don't think they're as good.
right,
Um,
exactly.
and Baker Mayfield's going to have a fire under him. I mean, what they
Yeah,
did to him was just disrespectful. I mean, you don't go tell him he's the guy. He went and took him to the playoffs for the first time in God knows how long,
yeah,
and then be like, you know what? No, we want a quarterback who's got 23 rape allegations on him.
yeah, exactly. I think it was they totally played him dirty, and it was a disrespectful move for them. But I mean, they had to do what they had to do, and obviously, I mean, Baker notices that. I mean, they made the wrong decision, and I mean, Deshaun and all that kind of crap. But yeah, no, I'm going Panthers though.
Yeah. So next game here, I'll let you go with first. 49ers at Bears.
Ooh,
It's going to be
49ers and
interesting because
Bears.
I think it's a low scoring game, but we'll see.
I think honestly, I think Trey Lance is going to be. I mean, people are hyping him up a lot, and I think he's actually going to work with Shanahan's system really well. I think he's going to really thrive in that kind of system that he runs there, the West Coast offense. And I think the 49ers will be decent. But if Garoppolo plays, I mean, it might give them a better chance to win. But at the same time, I feel like right now for the future, I feel like you put Trey Lance in, and Chicago's also got a quarterback that's kind of like a future. I don't know if he's a future star or not, but Justin Fields, he's got some athleticism, and yeah, he's trying to make a name for himself. But I would say, yeah, I think the Niners are going to win this game. I know the Bears lost a bunch of guys like Raekwon Smith. They lost some other key pieces for
Is,
sure.
is Roquan hurt?
No, I think
Did he
they
get hurt?
released him, didn't they?
I don't think they released him. I know he was on the trading block. I'm not
It was
sure
a
if he's
trade
still
block.
there or
Okay,
not.
then.
I'm
All right.
sure we'll get corrected on that real quickly.
I thought he
Um,
was. Huh. Yeah, we probably
next
will.
game, next game, Steelers at Bengals, and
Ooh.
the Steelers are going with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, which honestly I feel like is the wrong move. I saw Kenny Pickett play in preseason. He's got it. He's not going to be a superstar by any sense of the means, but he's NFL ready at this point. And I don't think you lose much from him to Mitch Trubisky. I think you just give Kenny Pickett the job. But it's going to be an interesting game going up against the AFC champion Bengals, who surprisingly do not get a primetime game. The Rams got the primetime game, and then the Titans got a
Yeah.
primetime game over the Bengals, which is interesting. But how do you feel about this game?
I feel pretty good for the. I mean, I think the Bengals will win this game for sure. The Bengals they upgraded on their offensive line. They upgraded it just in general. I mean, like to see what they did last year to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, I know they lost, but they only lost by like a field goal. So honestly, I think people. I saw the rankings in general, and people are underrating the crap of the Bengals. They got better on the offensive line. They added some pieces. I know they got rid of their tight end. They added a tight end, Hayden Hurst, who I think is actually going to really be a great fit with Joe Burrow. So I think the Bengals are going to win that game. I agree with what you're saying about Kenny Pickett, but at the same time, I think if you want him to be the future of the Steelers, I mean, an organization like the Steelers who are known for winning, they've won pretty much. I mean, we've both seen it pretty much all our lives. We've been seeing the Steelers go to the playoffs. So I think for him, he still needs to learn a little bit more. And also, I think the whole thing with him having small hands, I think that might just maybe throw Tomlin off a little bit. But I think he trusts him. But I think he's going to go with Mitch Trubisky because Trubisky has, I mean, he's shown potential, but obviously, you know what happened. I mean, he got traded and he had his days and that kind of jazz, if you want to say. But yeah, I think I trust Trubisky more because he's just more of a veteran presence, and I think he'll win some games for the Steelers. But yeah, I'm going with the Bengals though.
Yeah, the Bengals are definitely going to win that game.
Yeah.
We're going to skip this one for now because we
All right,
know we,
sounds
we
good.
know that's a big one for us.
That is a big one for sure.
Yeah, so then we move on to another one. The Colts and Texans.
Ooh,
Not really going to be a great game at all. I'm not really
no.
going to be paying attention to it at all. Colts have Matt Ryan at quarterback right now. The Texans have Davis Mills. Both, I'd say, not bottom of the league, but mid tier, maybe even below
Yeah,
average quarterbacks. Um, Colts have a great running game. I think that's what's going to win them the game, and I think the Colts have a better defense as well. The Colts should be a decent team, so I think they blow out the Texans. The Texans are probably going to be pretty bad.
Yeah, I think the Texans are going to be bad. Them losing Deshaun Watson, obviously. I mean, that was just a huge blow for them. But I think at the same time, I think Davis Mills is actually he has the potential to be a future. I mean, I would say not even Pro Bowler, but he's going to be a decent quarterback. I feel like, and I mean, as long as they keep on building his weapons and his receivers, I think honestly it's going to make him better. I see something in Davis Mills that maybe a lot of people don't see, but I just see an accurate quarterback, somebody that seems like they've been in this league, but obviously he's like second year, and he seems. I mean, I know it's just one of the worst organizations in general. No offense, Texans fans, but yeah, it's just gonna be hard for them to win this game. I think the Colts are way better, and usually the Texans are pretty much the worst team in that division. So yeah, the Texans are going to lose that game by a lot. Matt Ryan is really going to use his receivers like Michael Pittman. They still no, they don't Zach Pascal anymore. I thought he was with the Colts, but then I realized, oh yeah, he's on the Eagles. So they got Pittman, they got some other
I
guys. I'm trying to
think
think
they
who
still
else.
got T. I think T.Y. Hilton's still there. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Um,
Matt Ryan
he's
might try. And
okay.
I know that Wentz did not use T.Y. Hilton that well. He was not using him at all. So I think Matt Ryan is going to try and use a slot receiver like T.Y. Hilton, and Hilton will be a huge target for him. I think he'll have trust with Pittman, but it should be interesting to see if Matty Ice can maybe sneak the Colts in the playoffs. I mean, I know that division sucks, so maybe he can sneak them into the playoffs. It's possible, but I
I mean,
mean,
I
I
think
think
that
the
they
Colts.
they should
Yeah,
definitely be a run first team for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Run the ball.
you got the best running one of the best running backs in the league, Jonathan Taylor. I think that team is going to be a run heavy offense. You need to use Jonathan Taylor. And you got to make sure he doesn't get hurt as well. So I think that's a future star you got, and they got to hold on to him for sure, and they got to take it one step at a time and just realize, okay, you know what, we don't need to pass the ball right now. We can just run the ball, and teams are still going to be trying to like isolate on Jonathan Taylor and just they'll figure it out though. But I think Colts they dominate for sure.
Yeah. Next game we got here: Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins has had the Patriots number in Miami for a few years now, kind of surprisingly. Um, Dolphins are a new look team. They got Tyreek Hill now. They got a lot of hype around them. How are you feeling about the Dolphins against the Patriots?
I think that's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, I don't remember the last time we've seen a Dolphins team like relevant in general because like you don't see them in the playoffs usually. But when I heard that Tyreek Hill was getting traded to the Dolphins, I thought it was fake, like everybody else did. I mean, that was just a crazy move. And I mean, it was even crazier for what he was saying about Tua. And I mean, I know he's just trying to like get his quarterback, hype up his quarterback, and try and like actually believe in him. I don't know if he actually does, but I think Tua, it's gonna make him a better quarterback having a guy like Tyreek Hill. But yeah, I mean that adds a lot. It adds speed. It adds a lot of confidence to the whole team because the guy Tyreek Hill just comes from a winning organization like the Chiefs and then come to a losing organization like the Dolphins. It's gonna really bring like some kind of winning mentality to them. I don't know if it's actually gonna transcend on the field, but it could just be in practice. But yeah, I think Tyreek Hill was a great move for them. I'm still taking the Patriots, though. I think Mac Jones is, I wouldn't say he's the next coming of Tom Brady, but for the organization, he's very similar. I would say also that he is pretty much going to be this future quarterback for the Patriots, and he's going to be their franchise quarterback for the next 10 years, most likely, as long as nothing happens to him. I mean, God forbid, but yeah, I think Mac Jones and the Patriots they'll come out on fire, and I think they will win. But I think Tyreek Hill's going to have a big game, and it's going to really depend on who can really win in the offensive battle. And if Tua can really use what he has, I mean, he doesn't really have too much on an arm. We know that with Jalen Hurts as well. So that's the similarities with both of them. But he's going to have to really use Tyreek Hill to actually win this game.
Yeah, I'm with you with the Patriots going to win this game. I just I don't trust Tua. I don't.
Yeah,
I know he's got Tyreek Hill now. I just don't trust him. And I mean, we saw it in that preseason game. He underthrew Hill by like 5 or 6 yards. He leads in there. That's a touchdown easily. And
yeah,
against a good corner, against a real like decent defense there, that ball picked off probably, and it's a
yeah,
much different thing than celebrating a underthrown pass that got caught. Um,
yeah. They're gonna
maybe
have
maybe
some.
I'm wrong on Tua, but
Right.
I don't see it with Tua. I just don't think he's got the
Me
arm
either.
strength.
Same. They're gonna have
Moving
some
on,
problems. I know that for sure. But
yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Moving on to the next game, we got the Ravens at the Jets, the Joe Flacco Bowl.
Oh yeah, it
There's not
is.
much.
You're right.
There's
You're
not
right.
much we really. There's not much we got to talk about on
I
this
mean,
one.
Joe Flacco's return because that's. Oh wait, that's in
Yeah,
New York anyway.
it's in New York, but I mean the Ravens should just stomp
Yeah, they'll
the
annihilate
Jets.
for sure.
Interesting, which Lamar Jackson he will be playing on the last year of his rookie deal this year, so he hasn't got an extension yet, which that's
Crazy
going
to
to be
think
something to
about.
watch as well.
Crazy.
Um, but yeah, I think the Ravens should stomp the Jets. I think they're better in pretty much every aspect of the game.
Oh, for
So we
sure.
don't,
They're way better. I'm
yeah.
going Ravens as well. I mean, there's not much to say about it. I mean, just Lamar's going to
Yeah.
go out this year and just do his thing. Maybe he has an arm now. I don't know, but I think Lamar's just going to be Lamar and just ball out.
So yeah. Next game we're going to look at here is the Jaguars at the Commanders. Doug Peterson coming back, former Super Bowl champion against former Super Bowl champion Carson Wentz. Yes, he was on the bench, but it's going to be an
Yep.
interesting game for sure. I think they're both around the same level at this point. Um,
Yeah, it's
I'll
going to be
let you go
interesting.
first. I'm
All right.
interested to hear what you're going to say about this.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup. I think I'm going to go with the Commanders, and here's why. I think Wentz is going to really use his offensive weapons. I think he's going to really use guys like McLaurin. He's going to use Dotson. I think him and Dotson are going to be on point. I think Wentz just I'm not going to say dominates, but he's going to make some mistakes. He's probably going to get picked off. We know Wentz. He's going to make some bad decisions. It's just what happens with Carson Wentz. And I think the Commanders win. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence yet. I don't really believe him. I do think that Doug Peterson's the right coach for him, but I think you got to give him some time. I think Trevor Lawrence is just something. He's still stuck in the college game. I feel like, and I mean, if he could get over that hump, and I think Doug Peterson's the right coach to help him with that. I think the Jaguars can be pretty decent, but I mean, the Jaguars. I mean, they got some pieces, but I don't see them going to playoffs. I mean, that division, as we said before, is just awful, and most likely it's going to be the Titans or even the Colts running that division. I mean, if the Colts make the wild card or anything like that, but yeah, I'm taking the Commanders.
Yeah, so I'm with you on the Dotson with Wentz thing. I think Dotson's exactly the perfect player for Carson Wentz. That's just something Carson Wentz. Besides when he had Torrey Smith, he never had a dude who could catch the deep ball and actually
Yeah,
track the deep ball. It's something Carson Wentz has desperately needed in his career. Um, I think these teams are both underrated teams. Honestly, I think they might make some noise. Um, I'm completely different on you with the Trevor Lawrence thing. I think Trevor Lawrence has got it.
right.
I think last year he had Urban Meyer, who just was an
Yeah, that
absolute
is true.
train wreck there.
Yeah,
The dude just has all the talent in the world. I mean, he's the most talented quarterback I've seen coming out of college. Since I mean, Patrick Mahomes surprised me. I didn't think he had the talent he had, but I mean,
no one did.
literally since him, like he's got it all. He's got the running, he's got the throwing, he's got everything. Yeah, Alshon did catch the deep ball,
He
but
wasn't a deep threat though. He wasn't a
he
deep threat
wasn't
in
he
general.
wasn't he didn't have the speed Dotson has.
Yeah, I would probably say the closest Wentz has had to a deep threat, and he only had him for a couple of games, was Deshaun Jackson. There
Yeah,
was that game that we played Washington, where I think
Torrey
we
Smith
were.
was very good for him.
Yeah,
Torrey
he was
Smith
good
was
too.
very good for him.
Oh
But
yeah,
like that was the last year Alshon was really good too. So
yeah,
that 1 year is the only year he really had legit weapons. Now Terry
yeah,
McLaurin's going to be an absolute threat for him as well.
yeah. But
So
I
we'll
agree
see.
though with the Trevor Lawrence thing. I mean, just like, but from a standpoint, I think that Doug Peterson's gonna make him better, and I think he's
Yeah,
gonna show. He's going to show that he can play in this league. I'm just saying from last year, though, it just seemed like Urban Meyer was keeping him in the whole college kind of aspect, and that wasn't good for the team in general. So,
Yeah, I think he may be that quarterback this year that makes that second year leap. We see it every year. Last year was Joe
yeah,
Burrow.
he might.
Carson Wentz made it the 1 year. I think that's what's going to happen with him. But moving on to the next game, we got the
Ooh,
Giants at the Titans. This is going to be another stinker. I mean,
yeah,
you
for
got
sure.
Daniel Jones, in my opinion, the worst quarterback in the league. Like he's just god
Yeah, he's
awful
awful. He is awful.
against the
I
Titans.
agree.
The Titans should just absolutely beat the shit out of the Giants.
Oh, for sure.
Um, the Titans have the best running back in football. Their defense is greatly improved. I like the Titans in this one by a lot. It's a shame they put this on a 425 game because it shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
yeah, I agree. I mean, the Titans are just going to dominate, and Derrick Henry's going to run over the Giants defense. I just feel like, yeah, the Giants are just going to get annihilated. It's not even close.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. So next game here, we got this one should be really good actually. The Chiefs
Yeah.
at the Cardinals. Patrick
Ooh.
Mahomes against Kyler Murray, two of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Um, the Chiefs don't have Tyreek Hill anymore, but I think that may actually help them.
They have
Um,
Juju
and
though.
here and here's why. They had two of the same type receivers last year with Hardman and with Tyreek Hill. So you had the same type guys. Now you spread it around. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. You got Mecole Hardman still. And you got Sky Moore now. I think that wide receiving core is going to be decent still. And I mean, with Patrick Mahomes, it won't really matter. Patrick Mahomes is one of those quarterbacks that I don't think it's going to matter who he throws to. As long as his offensive line is improved, the Chiefs are going to be a very good team. And I still have them beating the Cardinals in this game. That's partly because I don't trust Kyler Murray at all, but we'll see.
Me either. I don't trust him either. But yeah, I would probably say yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. Also, the Chiefs they added Scantling from the Packers as well, so
Yeah,
I think that was a good
another.
move.
He's a deep threat, but he's also big, which helps
Yeah,
him
he's
out a
big,
lot.
so it's gonna
Yeah,
help. It's gonna help Mahomes. I don't think it's really a slam dunk replacement like for Tyreek Hill to replace him. But yeah, I think with it's going to be interesting to see what kind of chemistry Patrick Mahomes and Juju Smith-Schuster can actually build. I mean, if they actually gel together, I think they will. It's going to take some time, though. I mean, chemistry in football, chemistry in sports in general, it just takes time. But yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. I am on the same boat with you with Kyler Murray. I don't trust him. I
yeah.
think he's too small. He's honestly I don't know what goes through his mind because I mean we've seen he has talent. It's just he gets too confident and then he just starts doing things crazy. I mean, he'll just I mean, I think it was the last playoff game. He just was awful. I mean, he was
He
throwing
acts like Patrick Mahomes, and he's not Patrick Mahomes.
yes, exactly. Exactly. So
So
that's all I got to say about the Cardinals, but I think they'll lose to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to beat them by at least a touchdown.
moving on, Raiders Chargers. This should be a good game as well. A rematch of that last game there that knocked the Chargers out of the playoffs. The Chargers are greatly improved, in my opinion, with some decent additions there on the defense. I think the Chargers are going to win this game. I think the Chargers are better than the Raiders. I know the Raiders got Devontae Adams, but I really think the Chargers are a greatly improved team, and I think they got the edge on them right now. What do you think?
I'm actually going to go the opposite. I'm going with the Raiders. I just
Oh,
think
you asshole! No,
hey, I gotta pick some other team.
we
So
got to be different somewhere.
yeah, I gotta be different.
How
So
are we going to compare our picks next week if we don't have them different?
yeah, exactly. How are we gonna compare them? So yeah, so for the Raiders, I honestly think they got a slam dunk move with getting a guy like Devontae Adams, a guy that has a connection from college with Derek Carr, and those guys work out in the off season. I just think that whole connection is going to be insane. I think Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. I mean, I know a lot of people have doubts on Derek Carr. I don't. I believe in him. I actually think. I mean, someone was telling me that he could be maybe even an MVP contender, but I mean, it's like a dark horse. He's a dark horse. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think the Raiders will win. I think the Chargers are great. I think they made some great moves this offseason. I mean, getting a guy like Khalil Mack, I mean, that really like shows that you want to build this defense and you really want to make like a defensive unit. So I think the Chargers are going to be decent. I just think the
Yeah.
Raiders though are going to win this game and they're going to be more prepared than the Chargers for this game. That's where I see it.
All right, moving on. Got Packers and Vikings. This should be another good game. Two division rivals. Rodgers does not have Devontae Adams anymore, but I don't think that's really going to matter for him. His whole career, he's been able to find receivers to throw to, whether it's Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb,
Scantling.
and even Devontae Adams was a second round pick. Like, I don't think it's going to matter for the Packers this year. I actually have the Packers as my Super Bowl pick, which may be a little shocking. But
that is
yeah,
very
I like the
shocking.
Packers
Wow.
a lot. And I think the Packers are going to beat the Vikings.
That is very. I do think the Packers. I think they might have the edge on the Vikings. I just think that I just think it's really going to kill Rodgers not to have a big time receiver like Devontae. But at the same time, yeah, he does make receivers way better. He does. I think he's going to make Lazard a great player in general. I mean, he's going to make him look like he's amazing. Lazard, they got some other guys as well. But
Didn't
yeah,
they
I
just
think
draft somebody too? I believe
yeah,
they
they did. They
somebody.
drafted. I'm trying to think his name. I have him on one of my Watson. Was it Watson?
Watson, yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah,
guy from
Watson.
North Dakota State. Yeah, I liked him
Yep,
a
yep.
lot, actually.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I've seen his tape a little bit. So I think the Packers are the better team, but at the same time, though, I just think the Vikings are going to win this game,
Okay.
and they're going to come out victorious. I just think
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins is going to use Justin
there's a
Jefferson.
there's a ton of Kirk Cousins hype out there right now. I've seen people
Yeah,
calling him an
I
MVP
saw that someone
candidate.
was saying was it Michael Irvin that said he's an MVP.
Michael Irvin must be back on the cocaine because I don't see that at all. But speaking about cocaine,
Probably.
we got Buccaneers at Cowboys for the next game, and this is going to be another really good one. I mean, it's in Jerry's world, so the Cowboys are going to get all the
Yeah.
calls like they always do. Tom Brady coming back after the weird whatever happened in
Yeah.
training camp with
Oh
him.
God. Yeah, for sure.
And maybe this is just me being biased, but I do think the Buccaneers pull this game off. I think the Buccaneers are still overall a better team than the Cowboys. Cowboys to me got worse this offseason rather than better, and the Buccaneers are still a very good team.
I agree. I think the Cowboys did get worse. I mean, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. They just got worse. I mean, they did have some additions, some late additions. What was it, Anthony Barr from the Vikings? I just don't think that's gonna help you out that much. But yeah, I think the Bucks. I mean, they're gonna win this game for sure. They're gonna win this game, and they're just gonna show that they're gonna be one of the NFC favorites this year. Sadly, I did want Tom Brady to retire, but I mean he's wanted to come back, so I mean, it is what it is. But the Buccaneers will win this game for sure.
Yeah. So last game here we are going to cover before the Eagles, Broncos at Seahawks. There's not much to really say about this. I think the Seahawks are going to be god awful this year. Russell Wilson coming back to Seattle should be a bloodbath. I don't have to say much.
I think he is going to go insane on them. He is going to just annihilate the Broncos.
Yeah.
I mean, not the Broncos. I keep on thinking he's on the Seahawks too.
I know, right? Yeah.
It's weird. It's super weird to see him on the Broncos. So that's why I was like, oh, he's gonna annihilate them.
So yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think the Seahawks. I mean, their starting quarterback is Geno Smith. I mean, think about that. Their starting quarterback is Geno Smith. I mean, yeah, I don't see the Seahawks. I see the Seahawks being a god awful team. I feel bad for DK Metcalf because he's got to deal with it.
Fuck him.
Yeah. I just meant talent wise. I think he's got talent. It sucks though. He's got crappy ass quarterbacks. Like I mean, even if Geno Smith gets benched, I mean, your other option isn't that great as well. Drew Lock. I think they're almost like the same, to be honest. So I mean, the Seahawks are going to get annihilated. They're going to get annihilated almost every game. It's going to be a bad season for them.
Yeah. So
I feel like
last game. It's the game we're all going to be watching. Eagles at Lions. We know how we both feel about the Eagles. We both have a lot of hype for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Um, I don't see it being that close either. I just think the Eagles are that much better than the Lions. I think the Lions are a little underrated, but just the overall talent the Eagles have, it should be a blowout, honestly.
This could be interesting what I say. So, yeah, I'm going to pick the Eagles, but I'll tell you right now, I think the Lions are way better than last year. They got vengeance. They're hungry. I mean, I've been watching the HBO series as well, but that's not the
You got
reason
hype from
too. I
that,
mean, I've
yeah.
just noticed that they're just angry and they're pissed off how the way they played last year. I think honestly, and I mean, we talked to a Lions fan on 302, and we heard what he says. Even if they can get close with the Eagles, that's a victory for them. I mean, just
Yeah.
progress wise. So I think for them, yeah, they're gonna lose the Eagles. I think the Eagles do beat them by at least 2 touchdowns. I just think that if, I mean, I noticed that the Lions practices were like old school practices, like what is like 2 hours long or something like that. When Nick Sirianni's doing like the what is it like an hour
58
practice,
minutes. 58
15
minutes.
minutes.
Has to be less than an hour.
Oh my god, yeah, 50 minutes. So yeah, I don't know if I agree with that because were they doing that same thing last year as well or no?
Yeah, and it led to significantly less injuries, is what
Yeah,
we
it did,
noticed
and
from
and it and
from
it
him and
did
Doug
work
Peterson.
somewhat. I mean, they made the
Yeah.
playoffs, so I think with people who are saying the Lions are going to win because they're getting more practice time, I don't think that's exactly right because I mean, you look at the Eagles; they didn't have much practice time, and last year they were able to annihilate them. So I think the Eagles do win this, but I just think the Lions are going to keep it close. They're going to surprise a lot of people. I think Jared Goff really uses his new targets. He gets DJ Chark. I think he's going to use St. Brown. I mean, I love the DeAndre Swift. I think he's really good for them, and he's a future talent for them. But yeah, I'm taking the Eagles. I'll say,
Yeah.
what was it? I'll say like uh, 35-17. I'll say 35-17.
All right. I'm going to say 35-13 Eagles. I just think as long as they decide that they're going to run the ball and not try to throw the ball too much, you can throw the ball some. You got A.J. Brown now. I just don't want them to force the ball down the field too much. And when Hurts forces the ball too much, he throws interceptions. So
Yeah,
I
I
hope it's
agree.
a different Hurts this year as well. But
I think it will be.
just
I
give
think
him
he's.
time.
I think he's more
Yeah.
confident this year. He's going to use the weapons he has, and I feel like with this offense, I mean, They were a great running team last year. So what Nick Sirianni really needs to do is he needs to use the run. I mean, they need to run. So I think
Mm-hmm.
getting guys involved like Miles Sanders, Gamewell,
Trey Sermon,
well,
baby.
Trey Sermon. I
I'm a
mean,
big Trey Sermon guy.
I like the move of getting Trey Sermon. I think that was a great move. We need a big running back like that, a big bulldozer kind of running back, and that's the perfect guy. I mean, that was a W pickup. But yeah, I mean, it should be interesting, but they need to run the ball, I feel like. But I mean, you need to pass as well. I mean, you need to use the weapons that you have. I mean, I think Hurts is going to really be looking for guys like Dallas Goedert. I think Dallas Goedert is going to be using this offense a lot. I mean, a lot of plays like that. I think it's just going to be that connection is going to be great with them.
Yeah. Should be a great week. Well,
I'm
thanks for
excited.
coming on, KJ.
Oh, for
Hopefully
sure.
we'll see
Thanks
you
for having me.
again.
For sure,
Yes,
man.
sir. So
Go
yeah,
Birds.
make sure you follow KJ again
Appreciate
down
it.
below. I'll link everything for him.